Hello, everyone. It's Technique Tuesday on TMFA. As always, I'm dialect coach Chris Lang. Good to see everybody here. Um, what we're going to do today is, in addition to what I normally do when I come on a accent Q&A, and as always, your accent questions are always welcome. Put them there in the comments. I will be sure to get to them ASAP. So hello, 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 welcome, and give me your accent questions. What I'm going to do today outside of the Q&A is I want to give you guys some practical stuff to work on today. One of the things that I'm really passionate about in terms of actor training is making sure that my actors have got technique and skill that they can rely on to be successful long term. And it's technique that won't necessarily fail you at any point. We want that technique to be there for us so that we can use our technique to make us bigger, better, faster, stronger as actors. I'm often fond of saying this: why do we have acting technique at all? Outside of okay, well, it helps us act, helps us do the things we need to do as actors. For me, one of the biggest reasons that we have acting technique, and that includes accent technique as a part of acting technique, is because there will come a day, my friends. There will come a day, I promise you this, when your talent will decide to take the day off for whatever reason. You're tired, you're sick, you're hungry, got stuck in traffic, whatever it is. Could be on your way to an audition, could be on your way to set, could be any of these things. All right? Your talent will just be like, nah, I'm out. I'm not interested in it today. Not really interested in making this happen at all. And when that happens, your technique is there to reignite it, to set it alight again, to sort of tap into you and go, there's your talent again. All right, to make sure that your talent is easily accessible to set it on fire. So part of what this means is that we need some skills and some technique vocally, physically vocally, for accent work to make that happen. If I think about it this way, the reason accents sound the way they sound, broadly speaking, is because the physical things here in your vocal tract that create sound are shaping and altering that sound as it leaves your body in different ways. Right now, the ways that I use my vocal anatomy, that sound is getting shaped in this way. And so it sounds more like a general American-ish accent. All right, that's more or less why accents sound the way they sound when they come out of your body. So if we want to be able to alter this physical stuff so that the accent can be realized and that sound can be shaped in a different way, we need to have good use of our vocal anatomy. We need to be able to do things with our lips and our tongue and our jaw and our soft palate and uvula and all of these things. We need to be able to use these pieces of our body differently than we do in our own preferred accent. So I'm going to take you through and I want you to know these parts of your body, and I want you to know what they feel like, and then we'll focus on one of these things. All right? So I have a picture here that I would like to show you of what vocal anatomy looks like. Boom, there it is. All right? Now, there is no need to be intimidated at all by my drawing prowess. You too can learn to draw this well if you would like. All right, so this is what we got here. All right, this is essentially if I turned your face to the side like that and we cut your face in half, this is kind of what we would see. So the first things that I want to point out here are the lips. How many of those do we have? 2 of them, right? The lips. Very easy. Teeth are right behind that. Now, the teeth. Go ahead and get involved with your teeth for a second. Touch them with your tongue. Scrape all your teeth with your tongue. Your teeth, these guys, they're the beginning of your digestive system for sure. All right, these things. Now, ask yourself this question. My lips here, we just talked about, we've got lips, right? And right behind them are the teeth. Your lips, do they move? I suspect they do. The teeth, do they move? Do the teeth move? Touch them. Are they moving around? Not really. Now, these lower teeth, these basically just go for a ride on the jaw. which brings me to my next place. You can't really see it here because it's down under here. But that's the jaw right here. Go ahead and feel this. The jaw. Now, the jaw does move up and down, and that's how the teeth go for a ride. All right. We move back, and just behind the teeth, you see this little thing that I drew there, that guy? This is a little bumpy gum ridge right behind your upper teeth. Put your tongue there. And wiggle it side to side with me. Yeah. Feels kind of bumpy, doesn't it? You can even touch it with your finger. This bumpy gum ridge is called the alveolar ridge. And this is a piece of your vocal anatomy that we use all the time. And I mean all the time. We use this a ton. So you want to know that this is there and what it feels like. All right. Beyond that, right here, kind of this roof of your mouth, go ahead and poke it. See that hard kind of roof of your mouth? That, my friends, is your hard palate. Should be easy to remember because it is, in fact, hard. The people who came up with the names for this stuff, wow, they were on point. All right, but that's the hard palate. Now, poke it again. Why is it so hard? Well, it's made out of bone. It's covered in gum tissue, of course, but that's made out of bone. That, my friends, if you poked it here, you just poked the base of your skull. Crazy, right? Base of your skull that you just poked. All right. Then we move even further back here. All right. This little area. This is what we call the soft palate or the velum. The soft palate. All right. Now, everybody go ahead and yawn with me. I love a good yawn. Oh, I'm seeing Bask is here. Bask Victory, nice to see you. Thanks for the wave. Wave back. Have a good yawn with me. Oh. Feels good to yawn, doesn't it? I love to yawn. Makes my eyes water a little bit. I just get so emotional when we yawn. So as you're yawning, did any of you, and you can put in the comments if you felt this, feel something in the back of your throat, that kind of back mouth lift up? Oh, back there. Did any of you feel something like that? Oh, that thing lifting up, that is the soft palate. It's kind of a flap, if you will, that raises and lowers in your mouth. As you lift it up, it's raising up. And if you were to press it down really, really tightly, this is what makes nasal voices nasal, is the fact that the soft palate is lower, so more air up through the nose than out the mouth. All right? So that's the soft palate. You can move that up and down. Now, attached to the soft palate. So imagine my arm here. This is the soft palate. All right. Now attached, you've got this thing here. The thing that my fist is. All right. This, the little dangly doodad, all right, lives right there. All right. This is called the uvula. The uvula. All right. As English speaker, I don't actually use my uvula all that often. But if I was a French speaker, anybody out there speak French? Boom. You use this in your speech. All right. This French that R, that French R thing, that is a uvular action. We're actually using the uvula to create that. All right. So as, you know, if we say sacre bleu, that R, sacre bleu, that is how we do that. That's the uvula. All right. Now I can talk a lot about, say, for instance, this back wall of your throat. That being your pharynx, goes up behind the nose, behind the mouth, and behind the larynx in your throat here. All right, so it's just a wall of muscle. That wall of muscle gets used to sort of shift stuff around. We can squeeze it. All right, we can even do stuff with it. I can make this noise with it, for instance. Those of you who recognize, anybody here watch The Simpsons? One of my favorite shows for a long, long time, The Simpsons. And when Homer Simpson sees a box of donuts, and he goes, donuts. And then he drools. And he makes a noise kind of like this. He goes, that, I'm actually using those muscles in the back of my throat. That back wall. That's my pharynx. To create that sound. Yeah. All right, Bask. Yeah. I'm on board. And Phong Tran is here. Nice to see you guys. And Bask and Phong, any questions you guys have accent-wise, throw them down there. Anybody who's watching this, I see a bunch of you on the little screen that says people are watching. So ask your questions, guys. I'm here to help. Want to make sure you guys get some good accent support today. So now, it's not here, but down below this, in this area, this is your larynx. This voice box, so-called larynx. All right. This is where all of your sound is produced. Your vocal folds are here. If we were to look down your throat here, this is what we see. Oh, and Jay is here. Hi, Jay. Jay is, for those of you who know, Jay Becerra here, he's a client of mine. We're working privately together. I'm so glad he's joining us here. So he knows all this vocal anatomy as well, but it's always good to have a review. So if we looked down your throat into the larynx, we would see an apparatus that looks marginally like this. This is one of my worst drawings of vocal anatomy, everybody. All right. Thing you'd see up front here is this piece of cartilage. This is called the thyroid cartilage. Essentially more like a butterfly-shaped piece of cartilage that fits right in here in front of your vocal folds and all of that. It protects your thyroid gland that sits right behind it. And stacked on top of it is this bone that's kind of shaped like this. It's called the hyoid bone. Fun fact, the hyoid bone, my friends, is the only free-floating bone in your body. The only one. Means it's not connected directly to any bone, any other bone through like a ligament or anything like that. It sits right on top. If this is, it sits right here, right on top there, and you can feel it. Take your fingers, find your Adam's apple. Now move your fingers just above it, just above the Adam's apple. All right. And go ahead and nice easy hum. Ooh, you feel some buzzing on your fingertips there? Those are your vocal folds hitting each other and creating sound waves. That's what you're feeling on your fingers there. And now do this with your voice. Go from that mid-range all the way up. Just nice high pitch. Doesn't have to be as high as you could ever go. Just make it a high-ish pitch. We go like this. Ooh, did you feel anything move under your fingers? Did you feel that thing lift up? Ooh. All right, now let's do the same thing. Let's go from high to low. Ooh, you feel something lower down underneath your fingers? Yeah. My friends, that's the hyoid bone that you're feeling move up and down as your voice moves up and down. This is how it works, in fact, inside here. All right. Now, that's just behind this, kind of on top of this little apparatus. Now, inside here, you'll find these two little ligaments that are covered in mucous membrane attached to these arms. They sort of run down here, these two arms, all right, because knobs here that pull the vocal folds tighter and move them forward and back from each other, all right? That's how your voice goes up and down. The tighter the vocal folds get pulled, the higher the pitch, the looser they are, the lower the pitch. That's all here in your larynx. All right, this is the foundation of sound creation right here. All right, looks like I've got a question here. Nathaniel Dolquist, thank you so much for posting this question, Nathaniel. Glad to see you're here. Asks, if you're called in for an audition and need to speak an invented language like Elvish from Lord of the Rings, or let's say Dothraki from Game of Thrones, or any of these, we call these conlangs, constructed languages, conlangs, all right? He asked that no native speakers, that have no native speakers, these languages don't have native speakers, how would you recommend putting the dialect together? Well, the good news is, my friends, is that some of these languages have been codified, and indeed there are some rules that follow them. So Nathaniel, if you got an audition where you had to speak these things, you absolutely want to go to your dialect coach and say, okay, what do we do? Because, for instance, I have resources on how to pronounce Elfish. It just so happens that I'm that kind of language nerd, and I'm that kind of Tolkien scholar, that I have resources on how the Elvish language as written based on Tolkien, who was a philologist. This is a word for a person who studies the creation and inception and construction of languages. So he created Elvish following a set of rules loosely modeled on Icelandic and other Scandinavian languages and Old English. Kind of borrowed them, and his pronunciation rules typically follow those as well. So you would come to me, anything like Dothraki, anything of those, while we don't have actual real world like native speakers that we can go out into the world and just find them in their country, what we do have is a lot of source material For instance, if you wanted to speak Dothraki, we could go to the show and do an analysis on the show and see, okay, how are they actually, are they standardizing any pronunciation here? Is it free flowing? Are there a lot of differences? Is it modeled after other languages that we can look at? We would do all of that, and then we would create sort of a system that would govern our behavior and how we would want to use that accent or that language. But Nathaniel, that's a great question. And in fact, I love conlangs. One of my very favorite things in this world is to look at them and see how they're put together and to try to use them in the same way, like invented languages or invented accents. I have, in my work as an accent coach, had the great privilege of inventing accents for specific projects that don't actually exist in the real world. Really one of my favorite things to do. It's a lot of fun. It lets us craft things from the ground up as artists. And let's face it, we're artists. We want to do that sometimes. So Nathaniel, yeah, absolutely. And Nathaniel says, I've studied the Lord of the Rings appendices for hours as well. And Nathaniel, you and I will get together on this. And, if we're ever in the same city, I'll buy you a beer and we'll talk Lord of the Rings languages for sure. We'll make sure that happens. All right. Lindsay is here again. Lindsay Slay, good to see you again. So happy you stopped by. Okay, Lindsay Slay says, what are some do's and don'ts for taking care of your voice? Great question, Lindsay. Do's and don'ts for taking care of your voice. Big question, so I can't cover all of it, but I'm going to cover some things that I think are super important. Number one, hydrate, 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 hydrate. I have this, and yet another water bottle by my desk, all right? Because I'm talking all day. And hydration, anybody who thinks that you can just hydrate by, I'm just going to drink a bunch of water today and that'll be fine, your body's going to flush a lot of that out along with electrolytes. It's not so good for that to happen. So we want to hydrate over a period of time. If you need to be hydrated for a show or an appearance on set, you need to start hydrating 2 weeks before then. 2 weeks before then. I would say another thing, a do for vocal health, you need to have a warm-up. A reliable, at least 20-minute long warm-up that you can use before you need to use your voice as an actor. That gives you access to the breadth and depth and width of your voice, your vocal range, and everything inside that range. Definitely want to be able to have that. All right, warm-up is crucial. You would not ask a gold medal winning Olympic athlete to sort of hop right onto the track or into the pool or whatever without a good warm-up. You can't ask the same of yourself either, because you need to think of yourself in a way as an Olympic athlete of the voice and the emotions and the psychology of acting, the same way they are of the body and the athletics part of it. So you've got to have a good warm-up. Things to not do. All right, biggest thing to not do, don't take for granted that your voice is just going to be there. You've got to treat it like an instrument and learn how to play it really well. Vocal extremes, screaming, coughing, dying sounds, stuff like that. Make sure you have a vocal coach who can work with you on extreme voice so you don't damage this precious instrument. This is your moneymaker as an actor as much as this is. So you want to really take good care of this. And work with a good voice coach. Come to me, Lindsay, if you want some good coaching. And by the way, my friends, as far as warm-ups are concerned, if you check my website, I will soon have an online class that will lead a warm-up for you. So keep an eye out for that. You can buy that and just use it endlessly on your phone, at auditions, anywhere like that, just to make sure that your voice can be fully warmed up and useful for you. So that's a big thing there. So Lindsay, that's a giant question, and I can answer more of it later or in another Facebook Live. But certainly hydration, warm up, make sure you've got a vocal coach that you can do extreme voice stuff with, and don't just pretend like it's going to be there for you, because it won't. You've got to make sure this instrument is primed and ready to rock and roll so you can be at the highest level you want to be. The more breadth and depth and width your voice has, the more acting choices open up to you. The more kinds of behaviors that the voice is able to display and carry with it. That's what I would say that. Of course, Lindsay, you're very welcome for that. Basque Victory says, what kind of training do you recommend your students do? Like imitating the accent you want, shadowing speakers? Basque, that's a great question. Ultimately, a lot of that happens, for sure. A lot of that happens. But Basque, the biggest thing that I recommend for my students, learn accent acquisition skills. The skills that are applied for every accent you would ever want to learn on the face of the planet. These skills apply to all of those. So I want you to make sure you have those so you can be successful. All right? And that's why when your agent calls you and you have this audition for Amazon whatever's new show or their new film in 2 days, and they need a Danish accent, and you've never done one, you don't know what it's like, you've never heard one, you actually have the skills to be able to put that together with your accent coach and be really successful so you can nail that audition, because this will happen to you, I promise. Directors, producers, casting, they often just think you can do accents. They think, well, an actor should just be able to, boom, do an accent. But that's not the case at all. That's like asking an actor to come in and just be excellent at taekwondo right away. If they, just assuming they could do that, right? So while the industry grows and evolves and its understanding of how you guys do your stuff as accent actors, we also want to make sure that you are prepared enough to be able to meet some of the demands that they're going to throw at you for sure. So accent acquisition skills. If you want to do that, come to me. I've got accent skills workshops you can be a part of for sure, and you can work with me privately to pick those up. I invite you. Please reach out to me. I want to help you out in this. So for sure, Basque, if you need anything, go to my website, www.dialectcoachchrislang.com. Talk to my very friendly chatbot there. We'll take all of your information, and you can leave a good time for us to maybe chat on the phone and talk about this stuff. All right. Etienne Mueller, I believe I'm pronouncing that hopefully correctly. I apologize if I'm not. Etienne says, I'm from South Africa. I speak English with an Afrikaan accent. I live in California now. My question is, can I turn my accent into an advantage by specializing in specific roles? He was a corporal in the Army, has guns training, and also has some martial arts experience. Absolutely, Etienne. Certainly, your preferred accent, the accent you choose to speak in on a daily basis, and actors, listen to me when I say this. This goes for all of you. Every single one of you. Your accent is a wonderful, marketable skill. Do not lose it. Ever. Don't do that. Don't lose your accent. You want to keep that accent around and use it for all sorts of great stuff, because you will be cast using it, and your agents and managers also want to get you cast using it. And, you know, it's a wonderful part of who you are. It's part of your identity. We want to celebrate it and honor it. So it should be celebrated and honored. So can I, use my accent as a sort of a leg up for certain kinds of roles? Absolutely. What you want to do is take a look at the movies and TV shows that are being made. What kinds of stories are being told? Where are South African accents being featured in those? All right. I would say that you're going to see a lot of like mercenary military types, for instance, doing that kind of stuff. All right. Especially if you have military training, guns training, that sort of thing. Here's what I'll say to you as well, Etienne, about guns training. Real life firearms training and movie firearms, very different, actually. So you want to make sure that those are, that whatever firearms training that you currently have from your military, I would say you want to make sure you get additional firearms training for movies and TV, because it's a little bit different the way that they're used in real life versus on screen, and they differ in some pretty extreme ways for sure. So I would do that, but also, Etienne, the fact that you have that training, if you have accent training on top of that, now you can expand your casting opportunities. If you decided you wanted variations on British accents, or Australian, or New Zealand, or American accents, Canadian accents, now you can open up even European accents. German, as an Afrikaans speaker, Dutch and German are real close to you in a lot of ways. So you can open up there. Scandinavian stuff would be open to you as well. So the more of those accents you have, the more casting opportunities you are going to find kind of come across your path for sure. And again, Etienne, I invite you, reach out to me through my website, dialectcoachchrislang.com. Leave your info there. We can talk about training, talk about workshops, all sorts of stuff. Anything that we can do to help you get a leg up in this business. All right. As I said, guys, any other questions, feel free to pop them on the comments here. But I want to get back to vocal anatomy. All right, let's talk a little bit. We've touched the larynx here, right? Touched on our larynx, felt the hyoid bone go up and down. Let me ask you guys this. Have any of you ever had an experience where you've recorded like a self-tape, voiceover audition, hell, even a voicemail memo, and you've listen to it back and you've gone, That's my voice? That's my voice. That that's not my voice. That's not what I sound like. Then everyone around you goes, "Oh, yep, no, that's exactly what you sound like, in fact." No, that's totally what you sound like. And you say, "No, no, no. No, 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 no. I don't sound like that at all." If you had that experience, a lot of people have. I myself have had this experience. Why is it, my friends, that we don't know what our voice sounds like? We know what we hear, but then when it's recorded and everyone says, "No, that's what your voice really sounds like," you have the experience to go, "I don't recognize that as my voice," but everybody else does. What's happening here? All right, starts with here, the vocal folds. All right, imagine these are like little rubber bands, if you will. Or if you've ever taken a balloon and gone and really blown it up, right? And then you pull the mouth of that balloon tight and it goes, right? Your vocal folds essentially work the same way. The air flowing through them is making, then the vocal folds kind of hit each other like this, right? And that hitting creates those vibrations and that sound waves. That's why you can actually feel stuff. Those sound waves you felt here, that buzzing, that's those sound waves, all right? So what's happening here, imagine your body is like a musical instrument. If I took those vocal folds out of your body and I blew air through them and I went, and they went, the tiny little noise would be made. It's like if I had, imagine I have a cello, all right? And I take those strings off of the cello. They're still stretched nice and tight, and I rub the bow over those strings. We get a tiny bit of noise, right? But the instant I put those strings back on the cello, now something different has happened, right? Giant sound, big, burly, beefy, awesome sound, resonant, diverse, nuanced sound. What's happening here is that the sound waves generated by those strings and the bow, all right, are now bouncing around the inside of the body of the cello. They're bouncing around there. Lots of resonance, lots of sound, bouncing around the inside. All right? That's why we perceive a larger sound. Your body, my friends, works identical to that. This little instrument, all right, produces sound waves that then go into your body and bounce off of your body parts. Put your hand right here. And your hand right here. And now go, what do you feel under your hands? Write it in the comments. What do you feel? Change your location. Go. What is it you feel there? Vibrations, tinglies, something, right? Feel something. Those are the sound waves created by your vocal folds, quite literally bouncing off of the bones and the water in your body. So Lindsay says, "I feel nothing." I would like to poke and prod that, Lindsay. All right? Put your fingers right here and go, what do you feel on your fingertips there? That buzzing. That's the sensation we're after. You'll feel it here, all over the place. To some degree or another. It might be a little tiny. It might be really big. Whatever it is, Lindsay, keep digging for it. You'll find that sensation, I promise. Promise. Chris Lang guarantee. Stamped, signed, delivered, sent through the mail. All right? So those sensations are sound waves bouncing off of your body. When you hear your voice, here's what's going on. You're hearing those sound waves bouncing around the inside of your head. Great, Lindsay felt it. Lindsay says, "I feel the vibration. Hooray. Victory." Excellent. So those sound waves you feel, or that you hear rather, are the ones that are bouncing around the inside of your head where your ears are. The voice that I hear when you talk is after the sound waves have left your body, have traveled through time and space, bounced off all the surfaces, maybe entered a microphone, maybe gone through speakers, and entered my body. So those two experiences are very, very, very different. The sound you hear inside versus the sound we hear outside. On top of that, think about this. The space inside your head is so variable and so changeable in terms of its shape, how wet or dry it is, the amount of blood flow, the air, where the air pressure, all of this sort of stuff, on top of the fact that you could have just eaten or whatever it is, all of the space inside the head is so variable that it changes moment to moment to moment to moment. So not only do you not know what it is that you sound like compared to what's outside, but you also don't know what you sound like from moment to moment to moment to moment. Every second, every minute, your voice is different now. All right? So, what does this mean for us? You can't trust what your voice sounds like to you. Can't trust it because it's different every second of every day. It'll be different if you're hydrated or, dehydrated. If you've just eaten or if you're hungry. If you have allergies, a cold. If you just woke up, end of the day, middle of the day, whatever it is, it's going to be different all of those times. So you can't trust what your voice sounds like to you at all, in any way, shape, or form. So if you can't trust what your voice sounds like, what can you trust? You can trust what your voice feels like to you. What does it feel like? We went through all of these body parts here. What does your voice feel like? What does it feel like to move those body parts? What do they feel like? Can you feel vibration on them? Can you feel vibration on them? Go ahead and try something out. Close your eyes. I'm going to keep my eyes open so I can talk to you. But close your eyes. Trust me, close your eyes. And then I would like you to just say the following sentence to me. All right? You'll say, hi, my name is, and then say your name. And my favorite food is this, and I like it because it tastes good to me in this way. All right? So I'll go first. I'll say, hi, my name is Chris, and my favorite food is fried chicken. And I like it because it's salty and crunchy, and if you do it right, really juicy, and sometimes you get gravy. So go ahead, close your eyes, say that to me, and I want you to see, could you feel your voice? Can you feel your voice? The movement and those tingly sensations. Try it. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and da-da-da-da-da. And I don't know if you guys can hear this. Maybe you can, maybe you can't. But my dog is in the other. And I suspect there is an evil UPS truck outside, and he is attempting to protect me from it. So I apologize if the dog bark is distracting you. If you can't hear it, that's fine. But let's go. Hi, my name is so-and-so, and my favorite food is this, and I love it because of this. Can you feel your voice? The movement and the vibrations. Can you feel these things? Because your first bit of awareness on your accent journey is, can I be aware of all of this stuff? Is it possible for me to know what it feels like? Because we need to rely on feeling here. And why this is important is because physical sensations, these are always there. Always. So they are recreatable. We can actually recreate that sensation. Because that sensation is recreatable, it is therefore reliable. All right? So it's recreatable and it's reliable. You can know about it, you can recreate it, and you can rely on it. All right? That's why this is important. Because at the end of the day, if you can't listen to yourself, which you can't while you're acting. If you're listening to your accent while you're acting, you're not acting anymore. All right, you're absolutely not acting anymore if you're listening to yourself. You can't do that. In the same way, you can't watch your performance while you're acting. You can't be commenting on your performance while you're acting. So you've got to have another barometer that is in the moment that lets you know I am feeling these things. That lets you know I am actually on target for my accent. I can feel physically what I've trained myself to do for a specific accent. And then I can feel that in an instant in the moment and trust it as I'm acting. And then my brain is not engaged managing the sounds of an accent. It's engaged in acting, actively pursuing the thing I'm after in a scene, changing the world in front of me, changing my scene partner, not wallowing in my own emotional experience. I'm changing the world, and I can physically feel I'm on target. That's what we want for ourselves, my friends. That's the thing. So, that's the exercise. Bask says, I feel it. Vibrations and movement. Bingo, my friend. Bask, that's what we're after. I want you to dive deep. Go all in on that. Put all your eggs in that basket of sensation. What does it feel like? I want all of you to do this. Now, I have another question here. Thuong Tran says, Chris, I love to play with different accents, such as Southern American, British, etc. But wonder, is it worth learning those types of accents due to the roles that are often typecast? What is your experience and opinion on this matter? Thank you for watching, or thank you for all your time. I'm a fan of watching your content. My pleasure, Thuong. I'm happy that you're getting a lot out of this. Is it worth the time learning those accents? Yes, it is. All right. I'm just going to get a quick look at your type here. Yeah, so you're, I suspect, with some Asian background. You know, people of Asian heritage live everywhere in the world, and depending on your degree of separation from initial immigration, you're going to have the accents of the places that the immigrants ended up settling in, whether it's California, Texas, Minnesota, New York. Like, these accents are going to come around. So if you want to expand your casting opportunities to play all kinds of people in all kinds of places, absolutely learn those accents. That being said, if you look like you have Asian heritage, I would suggest also let's learn some Asian accents. Let's definitely have those there too, so that you can have that whole breadth. You're not just stuck, for instance, and I say stuck, it's not a great word to use, but you're not just only going to be asked to play, roles with Asian accents. You could also be asked to play roles with Asian heritage from other accent families in America or around the world. So don't think that will limit you in the least. And in fact, the more accents you study, the more skills you build in accent acquisition skills, the easier and easier each subsequent accent's going to be. And the better at it you're going to get, so that when somebody calls up and says, hey, we need this really specific Korean accent from this one little place, you go and we know exactly what to do about it. Right? Those kinds of things happen. In the same way that somebody said, hey, we need this one accent from this really, really specific place in northern Idaho, right on the Canadian border, we know what to do with it then as well. So, Thuong, again, let me invite you, come to my website, dialectcoachchrislang.com, leave your information there. Let's chat accent training. I'm passionate about helping actors succeed in this business, which means we want to increase casting opportunities, we want to learn accent skills, and we really want to, my goal is to create accent actors. I want you guys to become powerhouse accent actors in the same way, for instance, Meryl Streep is an accent actor, Daniel Day-Lewis, accent actor, Gary Oldman, Kate Winslet, accent actors. These are people we admire because accents enable us to transform into another kind of person. It's transformative. We really, really want that. So that's my passion for you guys as well. So I invite you to reach out to me. All right, my friends. Wow, 40 minutes almost I've been yakking away. So I'm going to call it there. But as you're watching this, if you're not watching it live, go ahead and leave your questions in the comments. I absolutely will circle back and watch these things. So before I end, a couple of things just real quick. My wonderful friend and colleague, an accent coach by the name of Adam Michael Rose, who was on with me last week to talk about his teen acting classes. He has a couple of them that he has posted about on this very site for Technique Tuesday. Looks like he's got a standard British accent class and a New York City accent class. So if you like the New York or standard British, either one of those, Adam is a phenomenal coach. Parents, if you're seeing this, teens, if you're seeing this, this is the guy for you. He is going to help your young actor really succeed at accents. He is phenomenal. I cannot recommend him highly enough. His website is amraccents.com. And if you go to that, amraccents.com/teen accent studio, that's what you'll find there. But look for his teen accent studio. He is incredible. You guys are going to love him. All right, for the grown-ups, and that's not pejorative, for adult actors who don't fit into the teen actor category, come to my website, dialectcoachchrislang.com. I have a whole bevy of accent workshops that are starting and accent acquisition skills workshops. My beginning accent skills workshop is actually moving to an online learning platform. I had such a ton of actors come to me from like March, April, May, June here. Now we're in July, that I literally ran out of time in my schedule to fit all the actors who are wanting to do accent skills in. So what I have done is I have recorded those workshops, and now those are going to be put online for you to use interactively, in combination with whatever live, or even if you can't do one-on-one sessions with me because of schedule or whatever reason that is, it's going to be available to you. So I want to make that available to you. If you go to my website, you'll see online courses under my booking tab. Those are now live. You can absolutely do that. So if you want to know more about vocal anatomy, I also have a vocal anatomy course that you can take there. All right, it's going to give you a bunch of exercises to do to strengthen this. All right, stay tuned in the coming week or so, and my warm-up course is going to be live there for you to be able to buy that and take that with you wherever you go, whenever you want to go, and get you ready to get this vocal instrument ready to do some acting. So that's it. Check out my website, dialectcoachchrislang.com, for accent skills workshops, accent workshops. Reach out to me for one-on-one sessions and for those online courses, as recorded courses as well on the online learning platform. I think you guys are going to really love them. All right, it's going to get you set up to be successful. The time to start is before you need accents. The time to start is before this industry gets back. The time to start is now. Please hear me when I say this. If you want to be successful, you cannot wait for this industry to come to you. You got to go to it. All right? You'll hear Wendy say a version of that all the time, and it's because it's so damn true. All right? Big shout out to Wendy. She's doing awesome work here. Another thank you for inviting me onto this platform to talk to actors. And I'm passionate about training actors. So this is my jam. I love it here. All right? Oh, you're hearing my preferred accent. A little West Texas creeping in there every once in a while. My mom's side of the family is from West Texas, so my grandmother, definitely, I heard a lot of that when I was growing up. So every once in a while, theater sneaks in, things of that nature. So anyway, my friends, I have to go teach another accent skills workshop, if you can believe it, in about 15 minutes, and I need to hydrate before that happens. So my friends, if you have any questions, reach out to me through my website, post them here in the comments. I am here to help. Never, ever feel weird about reaching out for help. I'm here for you. All right, my friends, I will see you next Tuesday. If there's anything in accent land you were particularly interested in hearing about, put it in the comments, and maybe I'll choose it for my topic for my Facebook Live next time. All right, everybody, have a great week. Stay safe, stay hydrated. If you can, get outside. The sunlight on your face is a wonderful balm to your soul, so make sure you get outside and feel some air, moving air through your hair and on your skin. You'll thank yourself. All right, my friends, I'll see you next week.